Hey, I'm Kelly from Pink Lemonade Company. Let's get into the mini house kit. I want to just show you what I've been up to and also kind of do a demo video and just show you some ideas that I have for the kit. But my true hope is that you take it and make it your own because you probably have so many better ideas than I do. And I'm so happy that I just get to create the thing to you and you can go add your own joy and creativity and imagination to it. I have so many of these little houses. I'll show you in just a moment kind of the breadth of my collection, but I have these stashed all over my house. I have houses stashed all over my house, and this one sits across from my desk in front of my window. And they're just so fun to create. And they serve no purpose other than just bringing us joy. I think that's kind of where it started for me years ago. Like, I love these little houses because it brings out that inner child in me who loved to play with my dollhouse growing up. And I'm still obsessed with dollhouses. And that's one of the things that I will do one day is to get a dollhouse kit, put it together. And I always joke with my sister. I was like, oh, I'm going to have a doll room. And she's like, that's so creepy. And I'm like, I know, it's going to be so great. And I want to have all these doll houses and getting to like restore an old doll house. I have no ambitions to restore a real house, but I think on the scale of a dollhouse, that feels so much fun. And so that's probably kind of where all this house obsession came out with, and then it ended up in this Procreate kit that just felt so much fun to do. And I would love to see the end result and the work that you've done. So if you're in the Facebook group, post it there, tag me, on Instagram, email it to us, whatever. I just love getting to see what you do with, where I just have this tool that I create and then again, handing off to you. So let's get into this. And, if you have any questions, make sure, and you can either DM me on Instagram or Facebook. I always love hearing from you. Or you can send an email to my team at hello@pinklemonadecompany.com. So without further ado, let's get into this mini house kit. So here is my messy work table. I like to cover this with paint ever so often, and it is in need of little painting, but this is just some of the houses that I've created over the years. I've given some away, so I don't have my full collection anymore, and I actually am kind of ready to let go of those, but this was another, this was from Creative Soul. We did a little house project in there. These were the templates from that. We did this back in the summer. And this is another just video shot from there where I was creating like these paper houses that we could, use in our home decor. We could use them in art journals. We did a lot of art journal stuff in Creative Soul. And so that is from this. And I think this, honestly, doing this in Creative Soul is really what sparked that spirit for me wanting to do the Procreate thing. This is just these little houses that I have tucked away in my home. I love the bike in the background. That's my son's. He loves to keep his bike in the house because it was a rather expensive bike. But I just am showing here this is part of Creative Soul as well. And that I have these little houses. And I'll even put them on my stairs, which I think is a fun touch. I have little children's books going along my stairs as well, as you can see here. And I think these little pieces that we can create, whether it's digitally or we're creating it, in so-called real life, like physical or traditional art, and we can see these things that we've done, especially when we get into that place where we're creating from such that space of just joy and creativity and love, and then we can see that actual real result. And we can put that in our atmosphere and in our environment. I think that's so good for our heart and our souls, and that good energy, I choose to believe it just has this ripple effect outwards. And so I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to look at some of the ways that I've used the Procreate House Kit, and then we'll go into Procreate, and we'll break down, the steps that I did in creating some of this stuff. So I want to give you a look inside the kit in case you're watching this and you haven't purchased it yet, but if you have purchased it, let's break it down because I want you just to see what is all available. So first off, you have the brush set. It's a Procreate brush set. It includes 13 different brushes, which are seen here. And we have this little snow globe brush. We have these 6 individual house brushes. We have a roof guide that, and I'll show you when we go into like the working file and breaking that down, how I use that. And then I just put these like little Christmas brushes or these Christmas fir brushes. I use these to create like little Christmas wreaths, and so that's definitely something you could do. You could create Christmas trees out of them. And then I have the star garland and this tinsel garland because it's just fun. Now, the great thing about this kit, one of the great things I believe, is that yes, you can use it at Christmas time and to use it during the holidays, but these houses can be made at any time during the year. And so while this is definitely a seasonal thing, it is definitely not a seasonal thing because I'm creating these houses all year round and they have, nothing to do with necessarily a specific season or holiday. Okay, so let's look at the other files that are included in this kit. Okay, and before we move on, I do want to say, yes, I'm using Photoshop as my background to share my screen with you, but the brushes are actually Procreate brushes. Now, however, if you don't want to use the Procreate brushes, you could definitely use this kit in Photoshop or Canva or some other software that you use. Now, the Procreate brushes won't be able to be used in those, but I've also included the template files for the houses individually as PNGs so that you could use those where you want to. So these are the 6 mini houses. They're high resolution PNG files, and you'll get these. And these are just, kind of the template or the starting place in how you can create these little houses. So let me get rid of those and I'll show you how I've used them. And we can kind of talk about that, and then we will go over to Procreate, and I will show you like the working file and the demonstration of how I did all this. Okay, so here are, taking those template files that I just showed you, there's so many endless possibilities. I mean, obviously you could decorate the houses in so many different ways using, endless amounts of color, patterns. Like for instance, this is like a digital paper that I put on this house right here. And here's some, glitter that I added. Like I have a set of glitter brushes, and I used those, like Procreate glitter brushes, and I used those in there. So these are just samples, but these are also finished files that you will receive. So you'll get the graphics in these 8 houses. I think I originally said 7. There's actually 8 that I had done for you. And you can use them or you cannot use them. I mean, we do have commercial license with everything that we sell at Procreate, that we sell at Pink Lemonade Company. And so you could take these, incorporate these into your designs and sell those, whether you're selling, maybe a greeting card or digital download file or whatever it is. So these are just a quick way to, create something. But if you want to use the kit in all its glory, then you can start from scratch and design your own house, and or maybe you take these and add on to these. So the possibilities are endless there, and it's really just how you're wanting to do what you want to do with it. And that's something fun too as well, not just with this kit, but when we create something, I know when I'm creating something, I love to come back to it 6 months later to see how I can change it or use it in a different way. And so I think that's fun as well, and I'm sure I will do that with this house kit too, is, 6 months from now, maybe feeling in a different creative space, or I have some kind of spark of inspiration and I change up these houses, or, I build my own and start over. So let's look at the style guide right quick, and this was just, again, something just to show you, hey, this is how you can get started. But as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I'm sure you have a million more ideas on how you can make this even better. And so you could do it just something simple, taking this template file and just doing the color fill thing and just making it almost like a coloring page where you're just creating color onto this file. You could also, add a digital paper with the clipping mask. That's something that I really love to do, is take my digital papers. We have probably thousands, I'm sure, thousands of digital papers at this point inside PLC Insiders, our graphics membership site. This is one of the papers from there. And so taking those and using those on top of the houses, I think just creates a fun, unique look. Because you'd probably never see this house, in real life. It'd be so fun if you did. But how we can add those distinct looks with digital papers. And then I threw some line work on top of that. And so that's another option. And then you could also add, different patterns and shadows for even more fun. I also included a little snow globe file because I love snow globes. And there's 2 files, and these again are high resolution PNG files so that you can use them in your work where you need to, where you want to. This one is a file over here that has a scene already in it. this white snow. This is just a side tip because I know some people have asked me, like, how do you create your snow? This is actually, I used one of my glitter brushes in Procreate, and so I just used it, and it came out looking like snow. And this graphic, this pink Christmas tree graphic is from PLC Insiders, but this little finish scene is in the house kit, and then there is just the blank snow globe, and so you could just build your own scene behind there, and you wouldn't have to put anything about houses in there, but you could definitely add your houses in there or add your own little scene. And so that's just sort of a fun bonus because it's such a season. While I'm recording this, it's December, and so it just, I'm seeing snow globes everywhere. And snow globes just, again, bring back that good childhood happiness and magic, and so you can create your own snow globe scene. Okay, let's go over to Procreate. Okay, so here we are in Procreate, and I'm going to pull in the working file that came with the kit. And so let me go find that. Here we go. So I use Dropbox in between like my PC and my iPad, or my PC and my phone, and that's just how I get my files and stuff from one place to the other. So here's this turquoise house that I did, and you're going to see here are the Procreate, the brushes that came, the house brushes. And if you need help with importing those, like, don't hesitate to reach out, but like, they're really simple. All you do is just open the brush library and click that little plus sign and hit import, and then just find the file wherever you've saved it and downloaded it after you purchased it. Okay, so you're going to go up to the layers panel, and you're going to see this is, I just wanted to include this because this just kind of shows my steps and how I built this house. And it all started with the brush, this brush, the house number 1, and you can see that layer. I have it turned off right now, but if I turn it on, it's right there, and you can see that it just has, the sketch or the overall template. And so once I finished, then I was able to, turn that off, or I probably turned it off as I went along. But I named each of the layers in here so you can kind of go in, and I won't go into how I created this whole thing, but it basically just started with this base color down here, and it was just, choosing the color and choosing a brush and going in there and just filling in that house guide and, doing it layer by layer. So I have the base color, which is the main part of the house down here. Then I added some windows. I wanted to do some line work, and so this is the siding line work, and you can see that disappear as I turn that layer off and on. From there, I moved on to the door and then went through all the windows, and then went through and did the roof. Now, I do want to say I used the roof brush in this, and let me create a new layer just as an example. And so with the roof guide, you'll, have to size it down depending on what size you need, and you can do that over here. And so I got my roof, kind of what size I wanted it, and you can size it like that too. And I just started duplicating those out. And so for the roof brush over here, it's a little bit different size and it's at a different angle. And for that, I had that on a different layer, as you can tell right here. You can see that texture, that roof texture disappears. So I had it on its own layer, and to change the perspective or to change the angle of the roof right there, I'll show you what I did. So let me highlight, was that layer? Yep, let me highlight that. I went up to the selection tool, or the move tool right here, and then I went down to distort, and it gives you a little bit of ability to change the angle of that roof. And so I don't remember what I did, but I probably just like duplicated this roof texture, like the main roof texture, and then I just shrunk it down, and then moved it using this distort tool, possibly even the warp tool as well, since that just gives you a little bit more control. And you can go in there and just play with that. Again, that's just personal preference, and it's going to depend on your project and how you want it to look. Let me go up and erase that right there, and I'll turn that back off. So each of these layers is just me building a house. Like if I was building a house in real life, and I had to, set the foundation, and then gonna add that door and the windows and add the roof, and get all that in there. I also have like some shadow work in here. You'll see that right there. If I turn that off, let me shrink this down so you can see a little better. So just adding some shadow work, and I try to stay away from using gray in my shadow work, and I usually just use a darker color by isolating that color and then just bumping it down a little bit. And then I potentially, let's open that file. Oh, it didn't. Okay, so you could also play with the opacity on that. If your shadow came out just too strong, you could turn the shadow or the shadow work down there on that as well. So hopefully that will give you kind of a starting point if you're not sure how to exactly use the house kit. If you are in Cake Collage, which is our Procreate course, we do have live calls in there. And so you can always come ask me your questions there, and we can break this down and talk about it on there. But if you have other questions too, like, don't hesitate to reach out to my team and I on social media or on our website. So thank you for joining me for this demo video. This was such a fun kit to create, and I can't wait to see how you use it. So make sure you share it with me on social media or through our website, or email at hello@pinklemonadecompany.com. Have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.